All right, it's time for our Pretender Contender segment as we're discussing Alex Galchenyuk. Does he have the goods to make it to the next level and become an NHL superstar? We welcome back Eric Engels, David Hurley, and Anthony Cornelli. Great to see you, gentlemen. All right, let's talk about Alex Galchenyuk. There's no denying the fact that he is someone that the Canadiens want to lean on moving forward, but is he a pretender or contender? Does he have all the goods that it takes? Start with you, David.
I'd like to think he's a contender, but statistics show right now that he's a bit of a pretender. I mean, he's on pace for 55 points. If you want him to be your number one centerman, you want him to be that guy who's going to be making the next step, you got to be producing a little bit more.
But is that not a reflection of the time? Is that not a reflection of the time he's getting on the ice as well?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Michel Therrien is a little bit to blame for that. I mean, he's been taking him slowly, kind of what he did with Malkin, but Malkin exceeded expectations. I'm waiting for Galchenyuk to make that next step to become elite. Right now, he's not elite.
Well, waiting was the most important word you just used. You know what? There's no question that Alex Galchenyuk is a contender to be a top-line center in the NHL. The question is whether he'll be one this year. And I think, you have to let him grow and mature into the role. At his age, he's produced on the level with some of the greatest players in the NHL today, Steven Stamkos, Alex Ovechkin, these kinds of players that at his age were producing in a very similar way.
A little more
I have to disagree. I think he's a pretender. I know progressively in the last 3 seasons he has gotten better. He has gotten a little bit more ice time. He got bumped to the first line, but I don't think he's what the Canadiens need as a first line center to take them into the future, to take them into becoming a Stanley Cup contender. I mean, he's no Getzlav or he's no Vinny Danfus, who's my favorite player of the Montreal Canadiens, and he's not putting up the numbers.
He's got the skill set to be the guy. Right. You see it when he's playmaking, the way he skates with the puck, the way he dekes. I mean, this guy's got talent written all over him. He would have been the first overall pick in my books that year if he didn't blow out his knee.
I think he's a pretender specifically only because of Michel Therrien. Not because of his skill set, not because of the talent, but because of the way that they're slowly grooming him to be that first-line centerman. I'd be curious to know your point of view, Eric, with regards to magical players like these, superstar players like these, who have the potential but are held back a little bit too much. There are some guys who don't need or don't have the same learning curve. Do you think that Alex Galchenyuk is one of them, that right now holding him back is doing him more harm than good?
I don't think he's been held back. I think actually he's been coddled a little bit, and they've done their best to shelter him from certain matchups.
You think they've been using him enough?
I think if you look back through the history of the game and superstar players, you want to look at the primary example. Look at Max Pacioretty. Here's a guy that came into the league and everybody said he was never going to be a power forward or an elite power forward. And last year, even when they watched him in the playoffs, said he'll never be a playoff performer. Here's a guy that has gotten better every single year. Max Pacioretty is now 26 years old. At 21, 22 years old, he was learning how to play hockey. Yeah. Right. Alex Galchenyuk is doing the same as a guy who started in the National Hockey League at 19 years old, and now at 21, or he's almost 21, is going to become a very good player when he gets that man strength and becomes 22, 23, 24. And over the next couple of years that the Canadiens are expected to contend, he's going to get there. He needs the opportunity to prove himself up the middle for sure, but they need to continue to shelter him and give him the opportunity to grow his confidence.
They also need to give him somebody else to play with, I think. I think they need to give a guy that he's going to have chemistry for a long run. I'd like to see him with Pacioretty more. We had that opportunity this year, and we saw him have some good success. But I'd like to see maybe someone new, a new face in the Montreal Canadiens organization.
That's always the problem with Montreal, is that we don't have that kind of depth, and we're always trying to jangle the lines and say, okay, he can't play with him, he needs to play with him.
I think we have Sherback that's going to be in the future. I think is the guy that the Montreal Canadiens are hoping is going to be that guy with Galchenyuk to be the scoring winger.
So the fact that you believe that long-term he'll be that guy, is that for you the sense that Bergevin will not go after a big power center? He will not go after that, considering the fact that he's got Galchenyuk? Does he believe enough in Galchenyuk?
I think right now Marc Bergevin's plan has to be to allow Alex Galchenyuk to mature into that role. Don't expect to see a centerman come here between now and the trade deadline, because that's not going to happen. Over the next couple of years, Marc Bergevin has cleared a lot of space off that cap, and the maturation of several of his young players has put the Canadiens in position that they're going to contend for a few years coming. And even without those moves, right now, the Canadiens are a team that can contend with Carey Price and Nets as a team that's proven that every time they have to prove themselves, they do it. They go out and win, and they win in an impressive fashion like they did against the Bruins.
But when they go up against the weaker teams and you expect them to go by them...
But who cares about that?
Well, because it's a work ethic thing, right? It becomes a work ethic thing. It's a lot of up and down. You don't see that consistency that you see out west, that a lot of these Western teams do not take these teams for granted. The loss to me against Buffalo was a warning sign.
Adam, I think that's about reassuring the fans. If you go around that room in the Montreal Canadiens, they know who they are. They know who they can be. And whenever they want to prove that they can be the team that people want them to be, they go out and do it.
On that note, it was great having you on the show. We'd love to have you back. For those who don't know what you're doing and where they can find your work, where can they catch you?
Yeah, I'm a reporter for Sirius XM NHL Network. You can hear me on there on Sirius with several of their hosts. And also I read a blog for hockeybuzz.com and contribute freelance to TSN 690 and other radio stations around town and some CTV television work. So I'm kind of all over the place.
Good. Great to see you. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Stay with us. I face off right after the break. You don't want to miss it.
Read Between the Lines is brought to you by Tilmar.ca. Innovative designs in the ceramic industry.